organization. And it's been an incredibly successful partnership. Those of you that know Julia Bottoms, she was the Open Buffalo Emerging Artist last year, and her career has skyrocketed. And I think it's exciting to see that Muhammad's is also following a similar trajectory, and he'll talk a little bit about that. So I have Max here with me, and the format tonight is going to be, I'm going to ask the panelists to introduce themselves and their organization briefly. We do have sheets in the back that include web pages and additional information if anybody wants to take something with them. We then are going to have a conversation. I think this is an incredibly important format, and we've had a lot of success with it. We are going to end the panel promptly at 7, and we have a dance performance that's going to happen. It's going to be very brief also, but I think exciting. And then we're going to have another hour or so of mix and mingle and enjoying our exhibition that's up today. So thank you all for coming. And I am going to start with MarCe. I'm going to just make sure we don't have any feedback because we shifted the speakers a little bit. So
also, real quick, somebody lost their phone. I think it has like the red eye. Okay.
We all turn our phones. Very good. So go ahead, and thank you to all of you panelists that came. I'm really excited. I forgot there was one other thing I did want to say, that for many of our panelists, English is not their first language. It might be their third, their fourth language. So if you do have a question or you're addressing the panel, I'm going to ask that you try and speak clearly and loudly so that we make sure that we can understand each other, because that's the whole point tonight. So thank you.
Gracias. Hello everyone. Hola.
Hola.
My name is MarCe Zerrate. I am from Cali, Colombia, South America. Colombia, South America is spelled C-O-L-O-M-B-I-A, please. I am the founder and executive director of Amor and Heritage. Amor and Heritage is a not-for-profit organization that was founded by me in 2012 to celebrate diversity through dance. So what we do is we go to different schools, universities, and all over Western New York, and in our celebration of diversity, we do narration to talk about history, geography, traditions, and about different countries, mostly the countries, the Latino countries that are more known here in Buffalo, like Puerto Rico, Colombia, Mexico, Chile, Brazil. And we do a narration about the country, and then we do a dance, and we represent that country through that dance. All of our dancers are diverse from different countries too. The reason why Amor and Heritage was created was because when I moved to Buffalo, I noticed that there was not a lot of celebration of diversity. That was 12 years ago, and I myself was very sad. I was a little bit depressed. So then one day I stopped being depressed and I started Amor and Heritage. And it was to make sure that people didn't feel alone, that people felt represented, that even if you were far away from your country, you still felt a little bit of your country here in your new home. One of the things that we do is we provide classes to kids. Every summer we have a free diversity dance class for kids from all over, very inclusive. And we help them to learn about diversity and multiculturalism, but most importantly, to learn about being tolerant, to learn about other cultures, to learn about their own culture, and be proud of that culture. And that's what we do.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie, Hafner. I'm speaking on behalf of Dreams and Refugee Services. We're actually located just down the hallway there, right next to the elevator. We have been serving refugees in the Buffalo community for over 30 years. We are a Christian community-based organization, and the way that manifests most clearly is that our national affiliate is Church World Service, and we get a lot of support from local faith organizations in the area. Our mission is welcoming refugees without regard to ethnic origin or creed. Along with refugees, we also serve SIV holders, individuals who have special immigrant visas are Afghan or Iraqi nationals who worked as interpreters, so people who supported our military overseas. We also serve asylum seekers and low-income immigrants. So we offer a variety of services, including our resettlement department, employment department, education department. We offer interpreting and translation services. We have the community outreach department, which I'm a part of, and my colleague Kathy Spillman. Can you wave to everyone, please? Thank you. We also have an urban farm program, and both a women's group that I started and a men's group. So anyone who keeps up with the news, you do know that there has been a lot of recent changes in immigration policy and refugee resettlement, and so while we don't have as many new arrivals that we're serving, we continue to serve the established and growing refugee and immigrant community and people who are already here living in Buffalo. So the topic that I'm going to be talking about today is art in the form of film. We're really excited to have our first ever Western New York Refugee Film Festival. It's going to be our only big fundraiser this year. And I'll be talking about just the way that film as an art form connects people to each other and crosses language and cultural barriers when trying to understand people, across countries and across cultures, and how that relates back to the Buffalo community. And I'll pass this on to one of our board members.
Thank you, Mackenzie. Mình là women Zaman. I'm going by women then. I am a Buffalo transplant. I've been here for about more than a decade. And Buffalo has been my home since I got to Buffalo. I'm originally from Burma, and currently I'm with the Penn State College Community Academic Center on Grant Street. So we provide education opportunities, cradle to career education opportunities to youth and families in the community, in conjunction with our Center for Excellence in Urban and Rural Education at Penn State College. On top of that, I sit on advice on NFRAN project advisory board, and as Mackenzie said, I'm on journalism board as well, and I'm with Amor community advisory panel also. And with all these things, I am involved with my Burmese community here in Buffalo. With all these things, arts and all social, all these intersects, and that's how I think, go weaving around. Thank you.
My name is Zaman. I'm a resident artist in Buffalo Art Studios. It's been about this I've been a resident artist at Buffalo Art Studios for about 2 years now. I do freestyle calligraphy, which basically is a mixture of 3 different languages together, and I mix Bangla, Arabic, and English, or Latin letters together, and kind of turn it into my own script. And the idea behind it is, I immigrated to Buffalo with my parents about 15 years back, and I've been living in Buffalo since 2003. When I was a child, I felt odd because I can't speak the languages. People are different than me, and as I grew up, I saw that other people who are like me, they're also coming from Buffalo, and they're having similar issues. And the idea behind it was to create something that is beautiful and bring together two different cultures and very opposite people together to something common. So after the panel, hopefully we'll get to see some of the artwork that's exhibited outside in the galleries, and their my work, and currently emerging artist of Buffalo for this year, and
My name
residence in Buffalo Art Studios, thanks to Katalin Mechtler, who's going to explain the story later. And these are my paintings that you see around in the walls. And I'm working as a full-time painter in Budapest, and also I was teaching for a while. And these abstract forms I'm using for like 1.5 decades now, and I'm trying to express especially very much feelings and music rhythm, and what always inspires me is the travels that I'm doing, and that's why I was very excited to come to Buffalo and to be here and travel around. And I've been in Japan and in Finland and in many other places, and it's always very interesting to meet new people and talk about what we try to express with our art. It can be music, it can be dance, it can be visual art. I think maybe these are the ones which are the most free according to how to communicate. We don't necessarily need the language to get the information or what the artist wants to tell us about.
Katalin Mechtler. I live in Buffalo almost 32 years now, and I started this program this summer because 25 years ago we started a similar thing with my husband, and it was different because it were medical students, and then the Hungarian Medical Association of America took over. I asked my husband that what we think about bringing out artists and taking back from Buffalo to Budapest. So this artist residency exchange program, I call it BuBu, like between Budapest and Buffalo. And that's how Sophie, I met her 2 years like
in my opening, I had an exhibition, and I gave a speech about her works. And that's
I kind of love it her work, and then when I met her, I said, okay, that she's the first one I would like to bring here. And Sarah Fonzi is the other girl from here, from Buffalo, who went to Budapest, and she's working right now there. And I'm going home next in 2 weeks, and I'm going to see her exhibition. 2 exhibitions actually in Budapest. So, and I was lucky enough to meet with Buffalo Art Studios, and then they gave us a studio here. So the same thing happened in Budapest with Sarah. I did arrange a studio for her and accommodations. So everything is working out fine now, but I don't know if she's happy and everybody else is satisfied. She's happy too.
The first comment that I'd like to make, and actually I'm going to let Muhammad take this because I know he's shy and he's not as loud as me. When Muhammad was talking, I couldn't help but notice the green paint on his arm. And one of the things that's wonderful about Buffalo Art Studios is that we have artists making art on site. And that gives people a lot of opportunity to speak about their art. And I'm going to go back to both, and I've seen this with Sophie as well. Muhammad, can you speak to maybe the personal conversations, especially with the public works that you've done? Your goal, I know, as you said, is to connect. Do you feel like when you're making the art and you engage people, how do those conversation opportunities come about, and how do they allow you to cross these cultural barriers?
Generally, if I'm going through something or something that's bothering me or something that happened recently, in news somewhere, which is affecting me in a way, I would take a portion of that story or that saying or that feeling and put it on my canvas, and the layers of that sentence or that saying, it goes on and until it's finished.
Do you think that as an artist, though, you've had an opportunity to connect personally with people because they're interested in your artwork?
Yeah, I'm fortunate to work with this project that we did last year, still ongoing, with a lot of beautiful people from Salvation Army.
Sophie, can you talk a little bit? You've had similar exchanges here at the studio, haven't you? With people seeing
Yes,
your work?
absolutely. So I was working in the studio and then I met the colleagues who were coming also to their places and I visited studios and Kati brought me to different places and it's just, I think it's always interesting when you start something, you put it on the canvas and then somebody comes in and you get a reaction immediately and then you have to start to talk about it. It brings a question, then it comes an answer and it all starts.
Does anybody else, I would imagine, with the dance? Have you had similar opportunities to connect?
Yes. Almost every performance that we do, if we just talk about performances in our classes, we do it, like one time we were at Canal Side. We practice a Cuban danzo, which is drumming. And we saw through the audience that there was a family and the older woman was crying. So after the performance, they approached us and they were like, "Are you Cuban?" And we were like, "No." She's Colombian, he's Puerto Rican, she is Dominican, but we love the Latino culture, so we are representing your culture today. And they were just extremely happy. And we noticed that in every performance or class that we have, even if it's a class with the parents, they're like, "Thank you so much for teaching our kids about our culture." So I feel like with dance, the feeling that we want to express with dance is actually the feeling of happiness. We want to show anyone or everyone that doesn't know about our cultures the positive side of our cultures, like to stop stereotypes and just, be educated about what happens in our cultures and how they are. And when we do choreography, we put that happiness into that. Like in every move that we make sure that we're representing the waves from our islands, or we are representing the love that we feel when we do a step and we're hugging each other, or things like that. Like we really try to represent the love and passion that we have for our cultures, and in that way, when people see us, they feel it too.
On that note of emotion, I'm going to ask Mackenzie, so does that have something to do with the choice of a film series to communicate your messages from Journeys and why a film series?
Definitely. So there's nothing more powerful than a person's story to change or ignite feeling in someone's hearts and minds. So film is the next best thing to having a real live person share their story. A lot of our clients have been through trauma, and talking about their story is maybe something that can be re-traumatizing, or maybe something that they don't want to share. And so to be able to have a fundraiser, a chance for the community to support us, but also at the same time learn about people who we are serving. So none of these documentaries feature one of our actual clients, but represents all of our different clients. We have the first film that we're showing has individuals from a variety of different regions around the world represented, and to be able to showcase, beyond the statistics, beyond the controversy in the news, beyond, all of these stereotypes or people that are kind of framed as something to fear or someone to fear because we don't know them as well. Or maybe they look different from us, or they eat different food, or they speak a different language. To be able to, really sit down and watch a film for, an hour and a half and think, wow, I had no idea I would have something in common, with someone who's born in a different place. But it really is personifying and allows people to make a connection that maybe they wouldn't have made otherwise. I have a really great quote from the graphic, or the street artist Banksy. Film is incredibly democratic and accessible. It's probably the best option if you actually want to change the world, not just redecorate it. Everyone loves a beautiful film with a compelling storyline. And so this is one way that we're going to raise money for the organization, but also educate people, entertain people, you know, open them up to the immigrant and refugee community that they might not have discovered yet in Buffalo.
And I do want to give them one more plug. Do you want to raise your hand? She has lots of flyers. And also, if you haven't been down the hall from us, Journey Design is a beautiful theater. It was built to be the theater for the Damon animation program. So, as much as we love BAS, we're not a great place to see a film. I can assure you that that theater is spectacular, the sound, the quality of the film. So I really encourage you, if you're interested in this topic, to participate and support Journey Design, but also I can assure you it's going to be a quality experience, that it really is a facility that was literally built with that and that alone. So it's really wonderful.
It's totally perfect. We actually moved into the space, not looking for a theater, but we're really happy we have it. And in addition to screening the films, we have a bunch of really other exciting things planned. There'll be at least one question and answer scheduled after a film. And then for our opening film, which is, I believe, Thursday, September 14th is the date. 13th and 14th, sorry, new Kathy would know that. We actually have one of the directors flying in to join us for a community conversation. And that's something we're super excited about. It's going to be really great to not only just watch the film, but also have the director and a couple people involved in producing the film to ask questions.
Great work, prizes.
So I'm a former newspaper journalist, and I picked up on both Ahmed and Mackenzie mentioning being affected by the news headlines. I've definitely observed a new wave of nationalism, American nationalism, and coming from an immigrant family, I feel it in a different way, I think, and I'm sure that you all feel it too. So I'm wondering if in the past couple of years you've felt you felt a new drive or a different type of motivation to create or to support creative efforts to kind of as a way of processing and helping people process.
What would you like to answer first? Okay, yes, our artist will go first.
I create work for that purpose to change the image of the media, what they think of us. When I say us, my community, wherever it is. And the whole reason behind my work or the goal is to give something beautiful back from us. Yeah.
We didn't even have a chance to speak. Do you have anything to add?
Yes, that and since that's brought it up, the nationalism. Yes, I mean that like strong like the nationalism which is being publicized, so much. And not only in U.S., it's going on at this time. Going on. Think of it like in Bangladesh as well, Burma as well, and then like when I heard that question, this is now when as soon as I get into the studio, I got a chance to talk to Mohammed and how inspiring his work is, and like through, as you mentioned, like through canvas, how we communicate, and it even doesn't come to a point that we're immersing and imagine as one, but we don't even get to talk about that he's from Bangladesh, or like he speaks a different language, or I speak different language. We're talking about how his art is inspiring, and how, although I am not the wonderful artist he is yet, I'm like over there, I inspire Frida Kahlo's work, Tracy Emin's, and then how I have all these artworks in my head when I go to sleep, and then how I could, make use of it. And he's like, just grab a canvas, and then just draw it. You just have to start it, and then from there, it will come back. So I just found that there will be all these nationalism propaganda all going around. And we meet each other, and then we get into this this genuine arts topic. it's like there's no difference between us. It's just that we are happy to talk about like the kids' art. And as soon as I met Katalin, also when I get to know that these are her arts, and then oh, I love the colors, and then I have to talk, like about those walls after after end of this session. And like just now when I was walking around the studio, they said, I'm not sure which artist, but I think it's Catherine said I got into Tony, and then we just got into conversation. What do you think of this artwork? And so I said that that work is so arty, and so when I express what my inspirational opinions are, I express that it portrays the Muslim at the same time as well, which is true. So it's no matter how large these forms of nationalisms are, we have to find humanity through arts. And then it's like I just found that in just like few minutes ago. So that's how art is wonderful it is.
So, MarCe, did you want to speak to that?
Yes. What is happening now in the country, and every time I hear something negative about immigrants, we all get, like every immigrant gets into that description. And that's why it's so important to my organization to create new programs. When this started, I do cry a lot about this. It makes me mad, it makes me sad, and it makes me want to do more. So when this happens, my response to this hatred that we see towards everything that looks different to the people that are giving that hatred, I create more programs. I go to more schools. I talk more about tolerance. I talk about different cultures. I collaborate with more artists, with more dancers, performers, poets, and different artists from any country and any way. And I include them in every one of our programs because I feel that we start with our kids. Obviously, we start with our kids. Our kids are our future. So when we teach them about being kind, about accepting each other's differences, about not letting that define who you are, but knowing in your heart that you are a good person, that you just need to be good to yourself and good to others. I feel like that's what we need to do. We need to stop sharing that hatred and using social media to, even though we are complaining, we are still sharing that hatred for everyone to see. So what we do with Amor and Heritage, we do get involved with politics, but our punchline is always share kindness and celebrate diversity.
Yes, Sophie, did you?
I just wanted to reflect that you pointed out the kids. I think that it's very important to start with the children so that we talk about these things. And I was so happy while I was working here, so many groups of kids were taken here and Shirley was explaining the arts to them. And I did a drawing book for kids with an artist friend of mine in Hungary. It's called Everyone Can Draw, and the second book titled We Are All Different. And the book is about a little creature. It's an activity drawing book, so you have to fill the pages. And the main character is traveling all around the world to see and find his friends and see the differences of the people and the culture. And I think when we published it and we gave it to the kids, I went to Japan and I just printed out the pages and it worked there. And I went to different countries and I just printed out the pages and it worked everywhere. And it's so important to tell them and to involve them in your process, in the dance or in the art activities, not to feel that art can only be in a gallery and we don't talk about it because it's something so special or far away, but that they can understand it and they can have questions and then we can answer them. I think it's important.
Mohammed, what did those children, speaking about that agreement, when you gave each, so we had a project in People's Park and Mohammed worked with them and then he made each one of them a card with their first initial And what was the reaction of those children when you gave them that gift?
Short words, happy, smile. I have some pictures, probably some of the biggest smiles I have ever seen. It benefited me more than them. Was one of the best art experience that I have ever had. Just working with it, and hopefully someday I'll get to do it.
Does anyone, and I want to thank you all. I know these are not easy things to talk about, and I want to thank you all for your openness. And I'm very moved that we have this wonderful space to talk about this. So thank you all very, very much. And does anyone in the audience today want to thank you? Our panels or something that they would like to address? This is a first. Artists? Anybody? All right, I'll keep talking. Do any of you, now we talked a little bit about reacting to the news, and I think to some degree we've talked a little bit about activism here. Art and activism has been a theme that we've talked about at Buffalo Art Studios. And I think we do see that. We see the role of art as part of activism here, which is why we have panel conversations like this. Do any of you see yourself as activists?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I think all of us in a way.
How do you think that you, what you do, maybe each of you can just give us a quick experience as an activist. How is it that what you're doing is, you are artists, but you are also activists?
I am very vocal in what I believe. My husband is here, he can tell you that. And I am not only vocal about those things, I also get involved in those things. I go to marches and I wear my costumes. I go to a special event that has nothing to do with dance, and I still might have my flower on, my big skirt on with flowers and flags, and I'm still there representing Latinos. So being an activist doesn't per se mean being in every protest with the flag and the sign saying you're wrong. But it also is by talking about it in a positive way. So I use every platform that I have to talk about. So, for example, Colombia. When someone that doesn't know anything about Colombia meets me, they're like, ooh, drugs, Pablo Escobar. I'm like, more than 2,500 species of butterflies, coffee, the biggest exporters of roses. So I use every opportunity to educate. And I think that's what being part of being an activist, I feel I am, because I talk a lot and I make my point and I practice a lot how to talk in order to educate without sounding condescending. So that's my way.
I feel incredibly lucky to be paid to be an activist. I basically feel like that's my job at Journey's End as part of the community outreach department. I started the women's group there, and that was something I did as a volunteer, just seeing a need to give more social support. And it's incredibly rewarding being able to, in that specific, gender-specific way, to be able to support women and, living their best life here in the U.S. Or trying to work towards that. One of my other responsibilities is doing advocacy, and so that's something that's been a big initiative at Journey's End. There's been this whole conversation about how Buffalo is going through this revitalization and how the West Side is, a very comfortable place to live. If you just, if you're looking for an apartment lately, it's crazy how far up rent has gone. And I think that a lot of people who live in Buffalo understand that this revitalization is, relies on our immigrant refugee communities, whether it's just stabilizing the population decline, whether it's, opening up new businesses, adding a ton of awesome dining options, And so the people of Buffalo are really benefiting from the refugee resettlement and immigration to this area in general. And I think that, part of the advocacy that we're doing is really just kind of reaching out to people who already know all of this about Buffalo and spreading awareness and saying like, hey, next time you share something political on Facebook or you get upset at an uncle or whoever it is, who makes an ignorant statement, call your representative, call your elected official, make your voices heard. I think that more hate, a lot of fear, people who are being incredibly vocal about that, but the opposite side, us doing the work, supporting immigrant and refugees, supporting people of color, supporting people of all economic classes, we need to be more vocal than those people who are being hateful and negative. And so advocacy, as a person, that's really important to me. And I think at Journey's End and doing all the work that we do here, we're all activists in a different way.
I started, I'll say I've involved, started out with pro-democracy activities back in Burma, and when I get to the States, I continue to involve with pro-democracy activities here in the United States related to the issues in Burma, and actually I'm a political asylum here in the United States. And here in this region, it started out with environmental and food justice. So the first project that I did on will be fish consumption project of, it's not, at first I started out with, I figured out that there are quite large of Burmese populations here, and then the first time I learned, when I was in my undergrad at UB, there was a blog that I read, a Burmese blog, and then it said that these whole large communities, Burmese community, since they got here to the Western New York region, they have never bought any fish, and since it's like some of them have been nearly 2 decades, and that alarmed me so much. It's not for a pregnant woman. It's not safe to eat like 1.5 fish. And since they have been here, they have never bought fish from the grocery store. So then I got into the fish consumption project with then Buffalo Niagara River Keeper. Now it's Water Keeper. And then I learned that it's not only to the refugees and immigrant community. The communities are, so when I do outreach here in the Broadway Park, people are the Italian, some of the African American folks who have been here for decades. They continue eating fish out of these waterways, and the fish in our waterways are not safe to eat because of the tremendous population caused by all these giant industries. Get me to connect it back to this community, and then that's how I have been connected and stay grounded in Buffalo. And from there, I got connected to education. So when I trace, this food and environmental injustice, then I got into education. What would be the mean route to be able to get to all these populations who are underserved, who are underprivileged, and they don't even know that they are underserved and they are underprivileged, and how may I get through this message to them? So it's happening all around the world. It's like the same way to Burmese community, people of Burma as well. And then it's like, so I find the mean that I can only get through education. So, all these social injustice, so that I get through into the field of education, and then working with public school and local organizations all together. Now I'm locally, I'm involved with Crossroad Collective Open Generation, which Open Buffalo is one of the lead organizations on that. Trying to bring all of the local social justice activists all together and making this big move, trying to have that big move, working together with the West Coast and Chicago and nationally. So in that sense, I mean, we are one of the, BuBu is one of the folks, the social justice movement in the nation. And so in that land, that's how I'm involved in all these activities.
Now, Mohammed, I know best on the panel because he's an artist here. And I think 2 years ago when you came here, would you have called yourself an activist then when you first started? And how has that changed to today, to now?
I use my art to create a common ground and common space for different people to come together. And when I started doing art, and it was more for really challenging the picture that was being painted of me because of someone thousands, I don't know, far away did something. And yeah, I wanted to challenge that image. And that's why I started doing arts about 5 to 6 years back. So that is my work, and hopefully someday get somewhere.
You are, I think as an artist, I have to say, he's so shy and humble, but I do want to just add the caveat that when I know that 2 years ago, sitting on this panel, not that it's clearly something that's uncomfortable for you, but you're doing it. I think 2 years ago, it would have been much harder for you. I think you have done a brilliant job of communicating with people. And I really encourage any of you that want to talk to him one-on-one. Mohammed is very, very shy, and this is not his natural state, but he is just so wonderful to speak with on a one-to-one basis. I see a lot of people nodding their heads because they've had that wonderful chance. And I think it is through that you are in many ways an activist. I think you're changing hearts and minds. One person walks in, and I can attest, as we talk about the children that come through here in the summer, we accommodate a lot of summer camps and day camps. They have all connected with the work. They have all
wondering with him, like, it is lots to share when you're able to do one-on-one, and in that sense, he's not shy. He has lots to share.
Yeah. But it is, I think for many of these kids that I take through the summer, it's hundreds of kids that we have come through here every summer. They saw art in a new way. They saw the idea of this Arabic language of graffiti. They all recognized that quality right away. So they saw, I think it was, if you talk to about children, I have to say, somebody who sits here every day, actually, well, I never sit, but who's here every day, I can tell you it is powerful to see it working, and I think Zoki has some of those opportunities as well. Do you, and so you're coming through a different situation. Do you see yourself as an activist, or maybe more of a bridge?
Yeah, so my paintings are very personal, I would say, also my drawings, and they have nothing to do with any political issues in that sense. But as I am a Hungarian artist coming from Budapest, wherever I travel, I'm representing my country and my city, which is always important. Maybe some of you never met a Hungarian artist before, and now you have an image of how that could be. And then I think maybe more as a teacher, it's important when you educate high school students or children, what you point out, what you speak about more, also in history of art or also contemporary subjects. It's a big responsibility, and we have to take it very seriously, I think.
Katalin, I already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask you to explain it to everyone else. What drove you to start this whole not so easy exchange? And it's Zerrate-Sandel. Many of you know Zerrate-Sandel. That's who's in Budapest right now. Why bother?
Why bother? As I mentioned, we did this with medical students with my husband, and after all, because our oldest daughter, she's into art. She works for an art gallery in New York City, and I love art always since I was born. So I thought that artists, they need help also. So I asked my husband, and he was very supportive, and of course all my friends who are here in the back, they're helping with everything, with sponsoring this residency program, and opening the doors for my artist, who I picked this time. But hopefully in the future, Buffalo Art Studios and the other contemporary art center in Budapest, while helping me there, they are going to continue and then with more artists in the future. I would like to do this for a little bit more, of course, but I don't know for how many more years. But I don't see myself as an activist at all. I thought it because I was born in communism, and when I left, it still was communism, socialism, they said in that years. But now it's changing. But